Shanks is a father. Allegedly. In this case, he's a father who left his child behind in favour of his own affair with the sea, taking a leaf out of his sniper's book. Side note, there is an obscure but not entirely unfounded theory that Building Snake is Frankie's father, and while there's not a lot to go off this, it would keep up with the trend that the red hair pirates are indeed bottom of the barrel fathers. Regardless, there is indisputably more to Shanks than we realise, and some of this may be revealed in the upcoming film Red. Hello humans of the world, I'm Dawn of the World, welcome aboard. Film Red is dropping in just a few weeks. I did a whole video on this a while ago, but in the time that's passed, we have been booty slapped with an inundation of more information, from trailers to token kids to a tiny manifestation of this sunny cute. And while you're at it, you should also booty slap my subscribe button if you haven't yet, if you would like to, in turn, be booty slapped by all kinds of different One Piece videos increasingly regularly. You know, get this kind of mutual spanking going on. What am I saying? And if you do that, be sure to say hi in the comments below. By the way, I spent this past weekend at an anime convention, and I also got into a fight with an escalator and lost. I'm in the closing assessment period of my film school, and I'm in the midst of moving my entire life from one city to another. Everything keeps happening. So if my energy is in the gutter today, that's why. But you know what's not in the gutter? The Film Red marketing team. They are slick, they are smart, they know exactly what they are doing and how they're going to get as many people to see this movie as possible. But I'll go into the specifics of that in another video. This was all meant to be the one video, but then it became a bit more about Shanks. Because, you know, he's a diva like that. So we are at a very significant moment in the history of One Piece as a series. With the manga entering its final saga and having recently dropped some story-changing revelations, the 25th anniversary coming up just this week, and the series being on the precipice of reaching global mainstream through the upcoming Netflix adaptation. Everything keeps happening! Now, in the last film, Stampede, we had it revealed to us that the island that holds the One Piece was not called Raftel as we'd been told for over 20 years, but rather Laugh Tale, a reveal which wasn't canonized in the manga until a full 6 months later in one of the most iconic scenes of the recent series. I legitimately feel things when I think about that moment. More like Cry Tale, am I right, lads? Now this is where things get a bit interesting. While this island merely having a different pronunciation to what we'd thought you wouldn't think would change a lot, the implications of the place being called Laugh Tale are pretty significant when you take into account, for example, the last line of Binks' sake, never ending, ever wondering, our funny traveling tale, and the increasing emphasis on the importance of laughter in the story of One Piece. If you know, you know. Therefore, the island being revealed to be called Laugh Tale brought the entire song of Binks' sake, which in hindsight was always a pretty important song, under a magnifying glass for much of the fandom, through which some pretty wild and possibly accurate theories concerning the end of the series were contemplated, all before the Laugh Tale reveal even occurred in the manga. But if nothing else, Raftel having a different name after all of these years was kind of a big deal by default. Naturally, having something like this revealed in a film before in the canonical manga is going to be a very controversial decision. But regardless about how you feel about it, like everything else, is going to keep happening. And Film Red is no exception. In fact, if anything, the reveals in this film have the chance to be a bigger, more blatant deal than ever before. Due to the marketing team's interesting and innovative choices that they're making with Uta, her songs have already been available for us to listen to for multiple weeks. Oda even revealed in a recent address to the readers that these music videos and vlogs of Uta's reveal several hints, but whether these hints are solely for the plot of Red or if they cross over into canon territory isn't specified, but the possibilities are there. And of course, these marketing choices have been made to cater to those of us who are into V-idols, so that we might already know the songs by the time the film comes out and we go to see it, but the One Piece fandom, being a group of analyzers and over-analyzers as we are, have already found some very interesting and thought-provoking lyrics. In both her songs New Genesis and I Am Invincible, she makes mention of a new era dawning, an increasingly poignant theme as we approach the closing arcs of One Piece, as well as this channel's namesake. And there's probably a load of other hidden messages in those songs that I haven't looked too far in myself personally yet. Maybe I'll do that sometime this week. But hiding such messages in songs like this makes me think think, again, of Binks' sake. And you can look up all kinds of other videos on that topic, but Binks' sake, of course, alludes to a similar kind of dawning of the world at some point. And while I'm here, I hope that Brooke has a substantial role in this film as well, because, well, they're at a concert. And he's the Soul King. His time to shine, baby. He could perform an opening act. He's from the same sea as Shanks, so that could be a thing. He'll use his music to do something important. He'll play a major active role in the film. He'll help Luffy defeat the bad guy. He'll get married to me. He'll play Binks' sake at the end to boost morale. There's a whole lot of potential here. But the hints in Film Red regarding the story of One Piece as a whole go a little bit further than this, because here's the kicker. Oda outright states that we may be finding out certain truths about Shanks. Shanks is an incredibly enigmatic character. He's easily one of the most important characters in the series. We've known him from chapter 1, we've known him for 25 years, but do we actually know him? We don't. His actual appearances have been few, far between, and steeped in mystery. The more we know, the more we realize that we don't know. Kind of like the expanse of the universe like that. For one thing, there's the question of why was Shanks with Roger to start with? And why was he originally from West Blue of all places? I actually have a whole video on the West Blue and how there's all this crazy stuff going on there that's being overlooked. It's honestly one of my favorite videos I've ever put together, and it's here if you wanna take a look-see. Check it out. But the truth that I think might be alluded to in this movie is his motive. What does Shanks want? It's so bizarre that we have such an important character that we've known for 25 years, and yet we don't know what makes him tick. We don't know what it is that he essentially wants. Of course, the general rule of thumb in writing characters is that they need to want something. They need a motive. They need something that drives them, that pushes them forward, that drives their narrative. Especially in a series like One Piece, where everybody wants something. It's a series that emphasizes dreams and ambition. Luffy wants to be Pirate King. Big Mom wants to unite all races. Kaido wants to die. Buggy wants to find Captain John's treasure. Whitebeard wanted a family. Blackbeard wants... Actually, I'm not too sure what Blackbeard wants either, but this ain't about him. We still don't know what Shanks wants, and he definitely wants something. This has definitely been done on purpose, as if we were to find out exactly what it was that he wants, he wouldn't be quite as mysterious. And we love a mystery Shanks. To be clear, I don't know if we'll find out something as big a deal as what Shanks' dream is in this movie, but I think that by the time we finish watching the film, we might have a bit more of a clear idea about what that dream or ultimate ambition might be. Because in the scenario that Uta is indeed his daughter, he left her like any good, bad, redhead pirate parent. But why? I mean, of course there's this whole, I'm a notorious pirate, you'd be safer if nobody knew about our connection schmick, but I feel like there needs to be a bit more to it than that, especially in conjunction with the few other things that we do know about Shanks. Like, why was he on Roger's crew at such a young age? Granted, this question also, and even more so, applies to Buggy. Forget him having a certain pirate that he wanted to discuss with the Gorosei. Why was he able to simply walk into Pangaea Castle and have audience with them in the first place? Not to mention, he very likely knew the truth about Redacted 1044 from the get-go and might have even orchestrated it all. Side note, on the topic of Redacted, I'm really wondering if or how it'll be incorporated into the film, since the anime of that won't be out for a bit still. They're either gonna not have it at all, explicitly have it, or they're gonna kinda nod to it and hint at it. So if you know, you know. That last option's kinda what I'm expecting. But at the end of the day, who is Shanks? Because even after 25 years, we don't really know. We don't know where in the West Blue he came from. We don't know why he came to be with Roger. We don't know how he's connected with the Gorosei. We don't know what he wants. We don't know who he essentially is. He is so familiar to us and yet a complete stranger at the same time. So who is Shanks? I think the answer to this question will be revealed over the course of the next few years as we enter One Piece's final saga, and I think that one of the initial definitive steps in answering that question could take place in Film Red. So what are you guys' thoughts and expectations of Shanks in this film? What are you expecting to see from him? How do you feel about big canon plot reveals in One Piece films? I know that Luffy and Shanks' voice actors recently did their first ever recording session together for the first time in 23 years for the film. Is that going to be for an old Fuchsia Village flashback scene, or are we actually going to see them meet in the film? Let me know all your thoughts down below. I'm Dawn of the World, and I will see you next time. Later, guys.